To kick things off, guys, I've been thinking lately. Have you ever wondered why some people get the job even if they aren't the most qualified candidate in the room? Is it really about what you know, or is it always about who you know?
That's a tough question, Raven, especially for us students who are working so hard to earn our degrees.
It's frustrating to think that a single phone call from a backer can sometimes carry more weight than a 4-year degree.
Exactly. Welcome to the HR Files podcast. I'm your host, Raven, and here we are explore the stories behind the workings. Real HR experiences turned into simple lessons you can actually use. In every episode, we open a new case file, break it down, and turn it into insights that students like us can learn from and be inspired by. Today, I'm joined by my fellow second year Human Resource Management students, Jasmine, Rico, Liza, and Jeneline. And we were going to dive in.
And now, we are diving deep into a very sensitive reality in the Philippines: the Padrino system versus merit-based hiring.
And just to be clear, we aren't just talking about family members here. We're talking about connections, friends of the boss, former colleagues, or people someone owes a favor to. Let's see if hard work still wins nowadays.
Before we get into the debate, let's set the stage to make sure we're all on the same page regarding these terms. Rico, how would you define the Padrino system in a professional context?
Well, Raven, the Padrino system is basically a form of favoritism. It's when an applicant is hired not because of their skills, but because they are connected to someone influential inside the organization.
And to clarify, it's not always a relative. It could be a longtime friend or even a recommendation from a powerful politician or a high ranking manager.
I get it. So, in short, the Padrino system is like cutting the line. It's not just about family, it's about using influence to get ahead of others. It's like having a VIP pass in a line where everyone else is waiting their turn. But, of course, as HR students, we are taught that there is a fairer way to do things. Channeline, what is the opposite of this system?
On the other hand, we have a merit-based hiring. This is the gold standard for HR. This is where we hire people based on their actual competence, technical skills, and educational background.
So, in short, the contrast is very simple. Merit focuses on the value you bring to the company, while the Padrino system focuses on the relationship you have with the people inside. In the Philippines, this backer system is so common that people often joke that you don't need a resume, you just need a backer.
Now that I've heard enough, let's get personal for a moment and talk about the emotional side. We are all second year HR students, right? How does it feel knowing that the backer system is waiting for us in the real world?
Honestly, it's demotivating. You spend nights studying for an exam, you perfect your mock interviews, but then you hear stories about someone getting a managerial position just because they are the best friend of the director. It makes you ask, is my effort even worth it?
I agree with you, Jasmine. It creates a motivation gap. If a student feels that the game is rigged or unfair, they might stop trying to excel. It's a huge drain on our morale as a future professionals.
It's a heavy burden for us and ordinary students who don't have powerful friends in the high places. It feels like we have to be twice as good just to get noticed. We have to fight for a seat that someone else got for free.
Furthermore, it's not just about getting the job. It's also about what happens after you get hired. If you see people getting promoted because they are connected, it creates a toxic environment where performance doesn't seem to matter anymore.
Now, let's look at the other side of the coin for a second because some people argue that networking is a skill. Janeline, do you think knowing the right people is actually a part of being a smart professional?
Oh, that's a tricky one. Networking is definitely a skill. It's about building a professional circle. However, it becomes padrino when that connection is used to bypass the rules. If you are qualified and you have a connection, that's networking. If you are unqualified but you still get the job because of a favor, that's just cheating.
Ah, that makes sense now. So, networking is like opening a door, but you still have to walk through it yourself. But the Padrino system is like being carried inside or just jumping the fence. It's all about favors instead of effort.
Wait. I have a question for Jasmine. If you were working in HR and you refer a friend who is actually a top performer, is that wrong?
Not at all, Glyza. In HR, we call that an employee referral. It's actually helpful because you are vouching for someone's work ethic. The red flag only appears when that person is hired despite failing the test or the interviews.
So the difference is the standards. In a merit system, the connections only get you in an interview. In a Padrino system, the connections get you the contracts immediately regardless of your talent.
So, it is like knowing someone, a shortcut for the lazy or just a tool for the wise.
If you rely only on your backer, you're just a passenger in your own career. Eventually, your lack of skills will show. You can't hide incompetence forever, even with a strong backer.
Mm-mm. To wrap up this part, connection aren't the enemy, but unfairness is. So, listeners, it's better to be the driver of your own career by ensuring your skills are just as strong as your connections. Now, let's shift gears to a very real and difficult scenario that many of us will likely face in the corporate world. Imagine you are now an HR officer. Your general manager approaches you, hands you a resume of a close friend, and says, make sure this person gets the job. But during the actual interview, you discover that the candidate is completely unfit for the role. Now, Glyza, as an HR professional in the future, what is the right move for here?
Actually, you know what, Raven? That is the ultimate HR nightmare. As a subordinate, it's honestly terrifying to say no to a general manager. However, we must remember that our primary job in HR is to protect the organization's interest. Instead of just flat refusal, I would present a comparative assessment report. This document would objectively shows the scores and the competencies of all candidates. It is a professional way to prove that hiring the unqualified friend is high risk move for the company.
That's a very strategic approach, Glyza. We have to use data-driven decision to defend the recruitment process. Otherwise, if we give in and hire an unqualified friend, the entire team will suffer. The workload will eventually fall on the hardworking employees who actually have the skills, and the team's mental health will decline because they can see the unfairness in the office.
Exactly, because HR acts as the gatekeeper. If we allow even one unqualified person in just because of a favor, we're effectively opening the door for a culture of low standard where nobody feels the need to do their best anymore. We must have the professional's integrity to say no, but we do it by focusing on the job requirements and the company's standards, not that person's connections.
It all comes down to accountability, Rico. If that connected hire makes a massive mistake that costs the company millions of pesos or damages a client relationship, the HR officer who signed that hiring paper will also be held responsible. Standing your ground might be difficult and uncomfortable in the moment, but it is the only way to ensure the long-term success of the organization we serve.
That's a powerful point, Jasmine. It shows that being an HR professional isn't just about paperwork. It's about having the courage to uphold fairness even when there is pressure from the top. Before we wrap up, I want to shift the conversation to something very personal, the stress of the hunt. Job hunting is already one of the most stressful things a person can do. But knowing that the Padrino system exists, that adds a whole new level of anxiety.
Yes, you're right, Raven. It's a huge blow to your mental health. Imagine spending weeks preparing only to realize the game was rigged from the start. That feeling of being rejected, not because you lack talent, but because you lack a connection, is incredibly draining.
Nevertheless, my advice to our fellow student and listeners is this. Please do not too hard on yourself. If you get rejected by a company that prioritizes bankers over brains, that is their loss, not a reflection of your worth.
Exactly, Rico. Don't let the bias system define your value. To those of you who feel like you're starting with nothing, don't lose hope. Instead of looking for a backer, focus on building your portfolio. Make your resume so impressive and your skills so sharp that they simply cannot ignore you. That's so true, Jenny. Quality work is undeniable. While a connection might get someone through the door, it's your competence and character that will keep you there. Use this time to learn new things, get certifications, and prove that you are a Red Spartan who can excel anywhere.
And for those feeling the pressure right now, remember that work-life balance starts even before you have a job. Take a breaks, talk to your friends. Basically, don't let the job hunt consume your entire identity. Your peace of mind is worth more than any position.
That's right. To conclude our discussion today, we want to look at the future we want to build. We want to make a promise right here, right now. We will be the generation that prioritizes integrity and fairness. We will hire based on what you can actually do because everyone deserves a fair shot of success. A connection might get you an interview, but only your hard work and excellence will build your career.
And now, thank you for joining us today in the HR Files podcast.
We hope this episode gave you a bit hope and a lot of information.
This has been Jasmine Enrico.
Glyza and Jenny,
And I am Raven, your host. We are the future HR leaders from Batangas State University, and we'll see you in the next episode. This is HR File Podcast. Bye!